Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this edition of the Cemetery Board. Thank you all for attending. We'll get started. I'll note that Board Member Chris Wiles is off vacationing in wonderful parts of the world. I have asked that he be available by phone, so we'll call him right now. No, that's not true. Chris will not be participating today, but I will. My name is Dan Shapiro, and I'm Secretary of State. Senator Perales is designated as chair.
I'm Paul Ambrose from the Department of Health, representing Commissioner Howard Zucker.
Louis Polishuk, Division Director, busily trying to silence my devices before we go really live.
Chuck Lefkowitz, Assistant Director, Division of Cemeteries.
Mike Seelman, Senior Investigator, Division of Cemeteries.
Len Breen, Investigator, Division of Cemeteries.
Joe Ambrose, Associate Accountant, Division of Cemeteries.
Tony Malillo, Counsel to the Cemetery Board.
Great. Why don't we get started? All right. Paul, give you a chance to look at the minutes. I did. Any comments, corrections?
You better read them like a hawk, because I found an omission in December 2014 minutes.
Well,
of course, that's before Paul was here, so.
Well, I read these like a sparrow, but they look pretty good to me. In fact, they were a lot more discursive, complete than they were last time. So.
That's probably Monet's involvement.
Thank you, Monet, wherever
You're welcome.
Yeah, there you are.
The last sentence, I think, needs to be rephrased rather than that.
Which one's the last sentence?
I need my copy back.
Shelley Hubert. This one?
Yes, requester sent me Dave's comments.
Meeting dates, plural.
Oh. Oh, this page.
The S is missing.
Okay, so move. All right, then I'll motion to approve the minutes. Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Do you want to do that now?
Yeah, why don't you tell us what's going on with the minutes?
Might make more sense in the context of dealing with your application, actually.
Is this something that, that Chris had?
Last month's minutes.
2 months ago.
2 months ago's minutes. Oh, Monet doesn't have copies of those yet.
Well, no, what was we went back to the video and it was on the song.
They were saying what? Let's not do it now. Do we need to amend those minutes
Well, we
today?
never adopted the April minutes because you directed us to review the video of the meeting to clarify the public comments. We reviewed the video, the public comments are inaudible because we did it.
Then we're gonna table one more
fine.
session, and we'll do it next time. You'll
Fine.
tell us what you couldn't find out, and then we'll amend the minutes
Fine.
accordingly. Or not. Okay. Two
You
meetings
just did.
ago.
It's 2 meetings ago.
2 meetings ago.
Last month.
No, you just did.
Okay.
It's
I'm sorry.
last month you
I'm sorry.
didn't approve it.
Yes.
What you mean
I'm
is
a month
last
off.
month you didn't approve the previous month.
Correct.
Okay. Legislation and regulation.
Yep. Starting to get this out before meeting, but there has been some activity. One bill has actually passed both houses. It is number 9 on the list. And that is bill, maybe it's number 8. 3095, Senate 3300. This does a number of things. It would amend the NPCL to eliminate Supreme Court approval of cemetery purchase and sale of lands. We require cemetery board approval of such transactions, would eliminate court approval of the designation of fiduciary of trust funds, power to cemetery board, and would eliminate the requirement for cemetery board approval of the resale of the burial lot in the instances when the cemetery has not offered to purchase the lot. So that is will be sitting on the governor's desk for consideration. And the only other action of note is number 16. It passed the Senate. This would enhance criminal penalties for mischief at a place of worship and cemetery desecration. And actually, there is one more. Number
16.
No, but what bill?
It's Assembly 6074, Senate 1104.
Is that just upgrade the misdemeanor, or was it a violation before?
It's
No.
Yeah, not sure.
It's adding caning as a possible punishment.
And number
Thank you.
17, this also passed the House, the Senate, I mean. This is Senate Bill 4920A. Would give religious cemeteries the same power to reacquire lots that public cemeteries have.
We're talking about the 75-year
Right.
contact there.
So, since the Assembly is still in session, this could pass the Assembly as well.
Very good, thank you.
Yeah.
Anything happening regulatorily? Yeah.
It's still under review before being submitted to for publication.
Okay, division report. So we did a lot of outreach this month. We did a regional with NISAC in Syracuse, which didn't get quite as many people as we were all hoping for, but got a very lively, involved, and involved crowd. We are probably also, the next day, Cindy and I did a presentation to the Chautauqua County Rural Cemeteries Association, which is the smaller cemeteries in Chautauqua County. You can just imagine how small and how volunteer run they are, but that was extremely well attended, and again, they're very involved, very interested. The good news out of these meetings is that there are definitely people operating these cemeteries who are very interested in doing the right thing, interested in learning how to run their business better, and interested in trying to make them succeed. The bad news is that the headwinds are still against them in terms of general economic hard times, all the issues they're facing. I don't know that, I'm not sure how much cremation rates are a factor in rural counties as opposed to cities, but they're still facing the headwinds everyone else is facing. And the greatest difficulty may very well be in identifying the next generation of board members. Because of both of those two things, we've gone back to the drawing board with NISAC, or we are going back to the drawing board with NISAC to try to rejigger our public outreach program to sort of, Joanne had a really great catchphrase as to what it's going for, so I'm forgetting that, Joanne Sullivan of NISAC. But it was essentially cemeteries, a less inflammatory way of saying cemeteries is crisis, really. How do we deal with your pressing problems and how do we turn things around? And we're going to probably be putting off the outreach that we were planning for July, moving it back into August and September so we have time to rejigger the program. NISAC itself, there's been talk internally in the division of reaching out to local government officials, town clerks, town supervisors. NISAC itself apparently will be doing that for its programs. To the extent we're doing separate programs, we'll do that too. But it seems like they now recognize this is critical. They're going to take the lead on that. We've also expanded our roster of folks giving continuing education on cemetery issues to funeral directors to include Len, who had a very good program here in the Albany area, with the exception of the fact that the projector didn't want to talk to the computer. But be that as it, I think he did it old school. And, we're continuing to do our program approved by the Department of Health for this 2-year cycle is common issues and interments and disinterments, and it continues to generate a lot of interest. I guess I need to talk about abandoned mausoleums. We have 2 of them up in the North Country. We're working closely with all 3 of the towns involved to try to A, facilitate this, B, get a handle on the books and records of what these abandoned mausoleums have left, and see whether we can provide technical assistance to them going forward to give them more options on how these things are going to run, because they do all have spaces that are sold but not yet used. I think that's, one more thing. The weather continues to be interesting. We have 2 cemeteries in western New York that have been hit by hurricanes, tornadoes, I mean. we do hurricanes, they do tornadoes. And one of them in the town of Warsaw, Cindy, most of the damage is stones that are toppled over as opposed to ones that are still standing, dangerous. The other one has a fair number of danger piers. We haven't been out there yet to have a fair number of stones that are now dangerous, and to the extent that's the case, we'll be anticipating an application.
I think to say it on a positive note, I just received a call this morning from the cemetery out in Steuben County, previously approved to build a crematory, and that's been proven to be helpful in continuing their operations and generating revenues, supporting the cemetery operations. But also she shared with me that based on guidance in the division accountant, that they should reinvest their minimum dollars in trust fund assets from CDs to more of diversified investments. So they went from generating $1,400 a month to some $4,000 or $5,000 a month,
Wow.
and it has helped them immensely to pay off some outstanding loans and got some improvements to the cemetery. And I thank her for her efforts along with her
That's great.
cemetery operators to make a difference.
After the meeting, I'd like to sit with you and your accountants and have you provide a portfolio investment strategy for me.
Yeah, I was just at a cemetery where they were projecting a 6% rate of return, and I asked them for their
Yeah.
investment advisors
Yeah,
contact.
yeah.
Chet reminds me that Tony and I and Chet met with some cemeteries and the State Association of Cemeteries on implementation of the legislation concerning the repeal of modified total return and replacement with the utilization of net appreciation. And we're having another meeting in 2 weeks, which
Yeah.
hopefully will put some flesh on this and allow it to get going.
Yeah, I'd like to. Okay, very good, thank you. Vandalism.
So good report, Bill?
Yeah, real quick.
Okay, so for the current fiscal year, vandalism fees collected were $135,912. Applications granted total $75,061. Applications pending were $141,757. Of the applications granted, both were for restoration applications.
Very good. And we've got, you did a great lead-in actually for the, no, that's for Walton Cemetery for their major renovation. So I'll say the lead-in, I'll hold off on that, let's just do the vandalism repair orders. We've got 2. Actually, I had a question on Mount Calvary. Very interesting. First time I've seen this.
Do we need Cindy?
Maybe. Let me ask the question, then because you might be able to answer it. It's there was an estimate for granite replacement, $47,000, which is very, very well. It's almost identical to the low bid for replacement of granite marker, that is. And the only line in the report was that the cemetery would prefer basically to have, the markers replaced, the monuments replaced. And I questioned that because it seems to me, and since we haven't had this before, where the costs are actually somewhat equivalent, I don't know that we've had the discussion in depth, which is it preferable, all things being equal, if there is no special circumstance requiring the repair of a standing monument, is it preferable to have a granite monument?
You mean a flush granite?
Flush granite monument would provide for easier maintenance and all that, and it would fall down again. So that's my question.
We had this discussion 6 to 9 months ago in connection with, I believe, Mount Calvary.
Oh, really?
Mount Calvary is a huge, huge cemetery,
Mhm.
and I believe they have some other if I remember correctly, there are some other older cemeteries that they have taken over. And the reason we see consistent applications from them is not that they don't do a job of maintaining the cemetery or they have people making trouble, but they go section by section and they bring it in section by
Right, I
section.
know.
So they're sort of, for perfectly innocent reasons, a repeat player with
Right.
us. And we always have this discussion with them because they're part of that Western New York selling flush granite markers thing.
Mhm.
And
But I don't think we ever had a situation
where the bids have never come in this close.
Exactly right.
I mean, the cemetery's view is that, care is not necessarily all that easier because they get overgrown. And they don't wear as well.
But in 50 years, you're not going to be dealing with it.
I
That's.
want to point out,
Did I miss something? Go ahead.
no, the statute, 1510A. That's right. Or something from that excerpt. Fifteen 10-A, paragraph C. Any monument or marker, this is repairable for removal of monuments. Any monument or marker that is removed as provided for in this section shall be replaced with a flush bronze or granite marker suitably inscribed. Replacement is appropriate for identification purposes. That's the statute.
Yeah.
I believe you've always taken the view that it's only supposed to be more expensive to replace it the way it originally was than it was paid for it to be replaced the way it originally was.
Yeah, and I don't think that absolutely, mandates replacement of the flush. I'm not sure. I'd have to think about what those words mean. But in any event, in terms of the equities, what's best, what's most appropriate for us to direct in this instance, I guess that's what I've got at the table. Do we need Cindy for that? I mean, what's the cemetery say on this application? Because it varies depending upon where it is. I understand we've discussed many times before the milieu, the historic areas, places where flush.
My guess is this section is primarily uprights because otherwise they would.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it has to always be
Look,
upright.
it's beneficial to them but it's easier for them to deal with flush markers. They can sell them.
I've got the photos, and it's a pretty large order. The cemetery has requested not to repair it, and it's $3,000 more total to replace it.
$3,000 more total for the entire. It's 51 to 54, 47 to 50. I don't know.
It's including the price that she lists is
55. Yeah,
$47,110 for the loan to repair or to replace.
right.
But then you add the legal fee or the legal notice fee of $2,100 to that, and the total is still $49,241
Right.
versus the $46,000. So it's $2,200. But if you'd like to look at the photos,
Yeah.
We have one photo attached to River Rose.
Well, look,
There was the original.
I mean, your testimony sir, is that the cemetery believes that this section ought to be maintained as monumented.
that's what they request.
All right. Okay. It wasn't clear, but I think I think we're going to encounter this. Apparently, we're going to encounter this on occasion, and my leaning actually is to go towards flat markers because they are easier to care for and they will not present issue in the future. So I would just ask them to keep that in mind when we review these.
Although to be fair, if these are done properly now, they're going to last a lot longer than they have.
On the vote.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to peruse the photos, it seems to me that the whole section looks very.
Right. But the section can change. Well, anyway.
The choice was between the family or someone else, some relative, paying for the repair to maintain the existing monument versus the state paying to place a flat flush marker. It would give more incentive to the family to do something to
That's interesting.
provide funding for the repair of the monument.
Yeah.
As opposed to saying, let the state take care
Of
of it.
course, look, these are published notices. The odds that folks are actually seeing.
Yeah,
The
they're
intent
present.
is for the public
Yes,
to see them.
yes.
That's right. We're presuming that the lot holders actually understand the workings of the ambulance fund.
And read legal
I sort of don't
notices.
think
And
they
read
do.
legal notices.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
But that is a really good point. I think we ought to, I think we ought to take that into account. If we see the prices becoming roughly equivalent, I think we can come along, hard look at whether we're going to replace it or repair.
Well, one way to do it would be to ask the cemetery to mail to the guy's known address as well as advertising. And let them know that's what's going to happen. Of course, most of those are going to come in December.
But that's a good idea. That's something we need to consider. Okay, I like that. All right, so let's talk about that. But for now, I guess we have this one pending. I don't see any reason to push it forward. Any issues?
I don't know how the public would feel about it, how we would find out.
What's that?
If we were to entertain a discussion about replacement at, or repair at state expense versus repair at the, or replacement at the flush mark.
Well, what I'd like the division to do is for future applications, where we have this is very initial, where we actually have quotes that are roughly equivalent, where it is feasible to both grant a marker, and there's no extraordinary reason not to. Right? I would like the division to do more reach out or discussion with the cemetery, and then perhaps we'll develop some other method of contact with the lot holders.
Wouldn't be a bad idea to get Calvary's input on this. Leave it.
Yeah, but these are dangerous monuments. I don't want them to see them.
No, in general, on policy, actually,
Absolutely.
in general, because they're kind of.
There may be sections where they're perfectly comfortable with that, you know.
Could we ask the cemetery for justification to, I mean, if it says, what I've seen is they would say it's like a historic section, or it's, it's a piece of art, and they don't want to dispose of that.
And that's a very good argument. And yeah, we've had that in the past. Yeah, it's exactly what I'd like to see. All right, not as a matter of course, but as a matter of perception. Okay. All right. Well, good discussion. But I will, I'll motion to approve 46 on 14. Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right. Town of Ithaca. I had no issues with the ultimate recommendation. Okay. Motion to approve.
Oh, there's a question of the arch.
Yeah,
That's why I said as recommended. I agree that we don't have to cover.
we got a second
you know,
opinion
each,
too from the other investigator. So,
And what's our second, what do we think on the arch?
whether it was a case of refurbishing, sandblasting and painting, or whether it was a structural issue or it appeared dangerous, did not appear dangerous to me.
Right.
And our other investigator, Brandon, went down and agreed with me. And I discussed it with the public works supervisor in Ithaca. And, I told him it didn't appear as though it was a hazard or something that was going to go down. He agreed, but he wanted to see if he could pay for it.
Well, we have an obligation, I think, to bring it to a functional level.
Well, right, that's the question. Is there an argument that we would have to pay for it for making it look halfway decent on an abandoned pier, not on a dangerous market pier?
Yeah. No, I think we bring the cemetery up to where it's functional. And then it's the responsibility of the municipality to go from there. So, motion 10, 51,450. A motion to approve. Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right.
Joe?
So the sign is now,
Okay,
I'm doing great.
so going back to your lead-in chat, we have a cremation application, crematory application from the existing cemetery, well, the same thing in Delaware. And it all sounds fine, but I was very confused as to the projected need. I didn't see it in the package, it could be there. The projected need as well as the projected numbers in terms of its operation, because you're borrowing significant amounts from the permanent maintenance fund to get this done, and you need to be assured that in fact you're going to be able to make the payment that's going to be a going concern. So somebody tell us that.
So this is what the projection looks like. It's in your
But
packages.
that projection is in the alternative of 4 or 5 different
Oh, hold on.
numbers, right? It doesn't
Joe,
tell us.
Well, she went a scenario, in other words, if they get the minimum amount and if they get a reasonable amount.
But tell me what that means, because minimum what do we think, what does the cemetery think, and what do we think they're gonna get for cremations a year?
It's hard to really.
That's my point.
The 150
It's an
seems-
estimate.
The I mean, you guys, if you want to, cemetery's here, they can elaborate on this.
Great.
We met with them on this, and the 150 was a very conservative number
Yeah, very low.
based on polling all of their local and semi-local directors as to who's like, or not all, because some of their local directors offer crematories, but not local, semi-local, they're pretty far away, but the areas might overlap. It's the one in, where is it, the one that, guy who's got the crematory? Right,
14.
so,
Well, the 150, was that the one that put them in a deficit of $3,000?
Yeah.
The first one?
That would
So
be.
that's not gonna work.
but that was extremely,
But the kicker is, Dan, they've got some deal where they're gonna get free gas, right?
The biogas, I saw that, it's great.
And which is like 40% of the cost of a cremation.
this takes
so-
that into account.
Well,
Right.
one of the analyses,
I think 150 is extremely low. I don't think.
Well, let me just,
Even at 150, they're coming out in the black, isn't that, if you want to elaborate, Kurt, you know, they're coming out ahead even at the minimal, 150, and they're more likely gonna be doing more than 150, that's a
Well,
very
sure.
conservative estimate.
tell you what, we've got the cemetery here, why don't you say hello, let us know what you think, and I'd like to know, how you came to your numbers, all right? That would be good.
My name's Kurt Van Buren, and I'm Vice President of the Cemetery.
Welcome.
And basically, we're focusing on items to my left, prepared this document with the cemetery board. Do you have a copy of any of this?
Yes.
Yeah, we do.
It would be under tab 4.
You don't have the complete thing. So,
We didn't bring the complete thing, but that's, but you can tell us.
There, I've got a hard copy, if you can look easily at tab 4.
actually, I think it would be helpful if you did. You can find it for you. It's one of them's upside, yeah, this is the one that's upside down.
After our survey, what if I stand up?
No, go right ahead.
After our survey of the local funeral directors, we found that we had commitments, and they're listed in our document, of 150 cremations a year. And they were all, I believe, within 32 miles of Walton.
Here's the tab 4.
And so we set our, this is what's under tab 4. Basically itemized everything, and we've also had a definition of each line. So we get one explanation there. But we went through and first we put together our costs, including our training, paying back our fund, that was $6,000 a year and so forth, our operator, incidentals, and total expenses. And we started with 150 units a year, because we thought, we're sure on that, so that's where we should probably start. And we brought it up to 400.
Right.
Okay? What we found is that down here, for income, we basically only have cost of the cremation and some shipping. And we found that, our break-even point would be under 150 units a year. At 150 units, using NICE gas, it's about $2,000.
2,000 in the black.
We figured that as our break-even. Now, if you just look down 2 lines, you'll see our break-even when the free gas is billed. It becomes $7,450.
All right, so we have, I think I might have a disconnect here, not with your presentation, but with the divisions, or I just don't understand, because I have the divisions fiscal. And so somebody explain this to me. I've got under 150 cremations per year. I've got total revenues of 469,500, net revenues of 84,913 in the red, and a 3% loss.
She did one with free gas, and then there was a typo on the second page. It should be without.
Okay.
But I see what you're saying, that she does have a loss at 150, and they're showing. I think it's the repayment of the loan. Did you have that in your?
Yes, I did, at $6,000 a year.
Okay, she had 12,000 for some reason. She has PM loan payback 12,000, so maybe that's where the loss is coming in.
Which is not correct. it's a 10,000 payback, it's 6,000 payback.
That's the only difference I can see. But the closest crematories are, you said, Fort?
Cherry,
Just above Oneonta, about 14 miles from Oneonta, there's one.
Okay,
Oneonta is about 26 miles from Walton.
okay.
That's,
And
the next
how-
closest would be Binghamton,
Would be Binghamton, which would be,
50 kilometers.
and then there's Cherry Valley.
yeah, that's.
And the crematory there, are they operating at capacity, or
Mike?
what's the business
Which one?
for the neighboring, the other crematories in the area?
I mean, I don't think they're really at capacity, and the one in Morris has 2 reports, the one in Binghamton, there's 2 crematories in Binghamton, I think there's total of 5 reports there, so they have capacity. Cherry Valley's close to capacity.
What's the impact, if any, you know, some impact, what's the impact of this crematory operation on those? Remember, we're dealing with a statute now which requires us to consider the impact on cremation operations generally in the area.
I mean, the closest one obviously would feel somewhat of a loss, but with the increase in cremations every year, I think it's going to be minimal. I think the other factor, Dan, is if you look at her income statement, it looks like they were showing a loss every year just on regular operations. And we're looking at this for additional income, as some other cemeteries have.
Right, no, I totally understand that. So the payback is 6,000 a year we're looking at? How many years, that's a heck of a long payback on the extended maintenance fund. And we've been talking about 10-year paybacks for
Right,
projects.
this would be probably around 15.
No, longer than that.
About 20.
Well, no, that would be,
What am I missing?
that's the net annual return. The payback to the loan would be 10 years.
Okay.
Because it's assuming that this is a 10-year average.
I'm confused.
What's the amount of the
Yeah,
loan?
I'm confused.
You have, 120, was 120, how much you plan to make out of the loan?
So that's 20-year payback.
It's longer than that.
Okay, so 6,000 a year payment.
6,000 a year, it's $260,000.
Could,
Oh, I'm sorry, I misread that, $120,000 permanent maintenance fund loan?
Yes.
you have, it
What is
says,
payback?
That'd be a
We thought
20-year.
Permanent maintenance would be half of it now. And the project cost, I believe, is identified as 230 something.
Yeah, I have the one, 260, got it. That's a 20-year payback, that's,
6,000 a year after out of 20 years, payback is 6,000.
right, maybe that's why she put in 12.
Could that be adjusted, and once they start getting the free biogas, maybe in the first couple of years, payback is 6,000, and when they get the free biogas, adjust the payback to increase the amount of payback?
well, wait a minute, the biogas, this
This annualizes the
that
biogas.
Cindy did includes free biogas in the very first year. But that's not gonna be the
No,
case.
it's not, that doesn't come into play until August of 2017. They would have to pay for the natural gas for the first 2 years. You know, and if you look at the expense chart here, then that, you know, it explains that, you know, on the bottom, you know, where
Right.
explains the amount that they anticipated revenue with the biogas and without differences. You know, they still come out ahead, 1,920 the first year, as opposed to with the biogas, you know, if they were to, you know, have that at 150 cremations per year, they come out at 7,450 in the black.
Here's my, I think we need a little more homework, all right? Sorry, but I think we need a little more homework on the impact to the surrounding, you know, the adjacent crematories. The division needs to be able, with confidence, to tell us that this is gonna be beneficial. I suspect it is, by the way. And I like cemeteries having crematories as a source of income. It seems to be the trend, right? More folks are opting for cremation. But these numbers are very, very tight, and I've got disparate projections here as to what they're really going to be. So I think we need to tighten this up, get a better understanding. So what I'd like to do is table this, put it on for next meeting. Division can make a full report then. I would welcome you being here, but you certainly can participate by phone. Okay, it's all right, you know. But I just don't think we have quite enough to go. You did a great job with your business plan, by the way. Very impressive. You know, you did everything right. But I think we need to scope it out a little bit more.
Well, the only difficulty is we don't want to start pulling the directors.
It isn't always directors, but we have an obligation under the statute to understand the impact generally.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
pointing out there's a limit to how precise these numbers are going to get.
Absolutely. But I don't think we've done a whole lot of.
The one thing we can really do is look at trends on the two things I think that we could add to this are look at precise numbers for the adjoining crematories, and from their existing rough projections for directors, figure out which crematories their cases are going to now, or are most likely to be going to. So we're not going to find out where each of them actually
So
go.
then, and then you have your projected numbers, you have 150, that is promised, right? I mean, that you know you can get. If you can project 10% above that, great, whatever, but give us what the division thinks it's going to happen. It could be wrong, all right? I mean, we're all fallible, but what the division thinks they're going to get and what the impact is otherwise.
Is there anything, just before we table, is there anything timing-wise happening in July at the town level that you need us for? Are we under any time constraint, or can we just push this off to whatever time in July we do it?
Well, our milestone schedule in the packet that we submitted shows that after the end of this month, we're going to have to adjust the schedule. Of course, we can do that.
No, but was there, I thought you had a meeting at Hanover Village.
Planning board is aware of our milestone schedule and we're able to schedule this.
When do they meet?
Once a month.
Okay, so they meet in August, they take a month off in the summer? Okay.
Seems like they're pretty flexible just based on their letters. They're very encouraged. They gave it their endorsement and they seem to be really behind this project.
It's a great, I love the biogas. I love trading the easement for free heating. And by the way, I assume, I don't even know if you figured this, because that gas will go to cemetery operations generally.
To heat the building
So
and
there's a
to fire
benefit
the
there.
retorts.
Did we
I don't
include
think we
those numbers?
subtracted, did you guys subtract the cost of heating the buildings back in 2017? I don't think you did.
I mean, that's something that's almost a major renovation kind of approach, but that's something you have to consider as well. So, before I, what's that, Tony?
There's also, there's a letter from DEC regarding the project, and items 4 and 5. Item 4, they mentioned that this is within the watershed area for New York City, and that you should contact Kingston. I don't know what the result of that is. I'm not sure if it's in the packet. And also that item 5, that this may be located within an area of historical or archaeological significance, and they recommend this contact Parks and Recreation.
Would you like to respond?
Yeah.
We've already done the historic survey. Nothing was discovered. And it's been filed. And then DEC, contacted them, letter, discussed it. We contacted New York City, Grahamsville, discussed it. They put us in contact with one of their survey people who would be responsible for overseeing it. Discussed it with him. He said that it's possible. They're concerned about disruption of the construction site, a 30 by 40 building. He said that possibly the DEC permit will cover the New York City permit. But I can't say that until it's been reviewed, an opinion.
By the way, here, any sense of the community's reaction to having crematory there? Has there been any, are folks aware of that? Has there been any pushback?
We have had no pushback. There's letters from mayor and supervisor, to other people. It's very, very positive.
Yeah, that's right.
I saw that.
You know,
Fortunately, there's no homes within, the nearest home is what, a quarter mile away. There's no residential, they're not on top of residential. Where the building would be situated in the center of the cemetery.
Not only they're not near residential, they're not near any public thoroughfares, really, they're deep into the
Very good.
cemetery, so you don't see it.
All right, anything else you want to address before I move on? Yeah.
All of the requirements for handicap accessibility are taken care of in these documents you've seen.
yes.
All right, great. Well, hopefully we can come to a conclusion on this next meeting. All right. Again, you don't have to come up here. I'll get you by phone. Be here just to say it's okay.
Thank you.
But you can if you like. And we'll take this up next meeting. All right. Thank you. All right. Rockville Plain Lawn merger. All right.
That's the original.
And we've gone through this
You've got
before.
the PDFs, that's the.
Yep, we've gone through this before, right?
Yep.
And we're all happy with the merger. This is usually effectuating documents. I looked at it online. I had no issue. I think anything.
No, they made the changes that I requested and that council to division of corporations
Right.
to their merger documents. So I believe that they're ready to go and ready to be approved, and I have a proposed approval of certificate of merger. And if a motion's going to be made, that should probably be read.
Thank you. So this, we approve this as a condition precedent following with the.
You better speak up, this is not good.
Oh, we approve this as a condition precedent to the filing of the document with conditional corporations, to the corporate entity, consent form. So there you go. All right. Do you recall this one? Do we need any background?
No, I wanted to ask Joe, does the board need to be concerned with the fact that we use a modified cash basis of accounting? Does that impact this?
Most of them use that. Most cemeteries do. It is acceptable on accounting for these cemeteries.
All right, in that case, I will motion to approve, and I'll read the motion. Pursuant to sections 404E and 909 of the Not-for-Profit Corporation Law, the New York State Cemetery Board hereby approves the certificate of merger entitled Certificate of Merger of Plain Lawn Cemetery Corporation of Rockville Cemetery into Rockville Cemetery Inc. under New York Not-for-Profit Corporation Law, Section 904, and the New York State Cemetery Board hereby approves the filing of said certificate of merger. Do I have a second? Second. Favor say aye. Aye. Great.
The only thing is, Chris is your sign.
Well, two is sufficient. If you want to hold it for Chris's signature, that's fine, but.
I don't think we should substance it.
No, that's true. Oh, one here.
Yeah.
One little thing like that stops. Here's your originals. Use those. Very good.
Make sure the original goes back to
Who gets the original, Gary or
Rockville.
that? Rockville. They get the original, okay. Does Gary get a copy of this?
No.
Okay.
They'll file that when they file their return.
You'll do the scanning.
All right.
And you'll give it to me.
Ringwood Union Cemetery.
Do you want them on the phone, or do you want to wait and see if we can?
Why don't we wait and see? Because I don't know that I have any.
Tony had asked for clarification of something. Should I do this now?
Sure.
So Tony asked, The board, so let me just give you a little background here. They came to us last year, they being Greenwood Union. They want to build a community mausoleum. There's a hilltop that's got rock under it, it's not really suitable for in-ground burials, and they want to build a community mausoleum. They pulled their directors, they believe they have a market for it. They do very well in general as a cemetery. They're not making oodles of money, but they're typically in the positive every year with one exception. They had one bad year, which was a negligible loss.
Yes.
But they made, other than that, they made money, every year in the last 10. And they believe they can sell it. The board gave its recommendation back in December to approved the construction of the mausoleum, community mausoleum, and recommended that the court approve a PM loan of $550,000 to cover the cost of that. Meanwhile, as we were doing this, the ground was apparently, figuratively speaking, shifting on them, and they, after having a long history of back and forth with the town, effectively figured out that they had the green light to go ahead with building out their last section, which is right now basically used for them storing wood chips. It's a big mountain of wood chips. Separate and apart from the rest of the cemetery, it also includes a disused caretaker's cottage, which, while that's not the subject of this application, will probably ultimately come down. They think the town is amenable to going ahead with this now, and I don't want to say anything about this particular town, but in general, there are cemeteries, especially downstate, that have had fraught histories with their local regulators, and they think this is a good time to move ahead. So they came back to us and said, can we have another $700,000 in PM loan? By the way, they have not yet gone to court on the original $550,000.
Yeah, that's good.
Hey, can we have another $700,000 in PM loan? And with that, go ahead and develop this last section. We've got Reaver and Ward on board. We have their site plan. We have their drainage plan. We have their grading plan. They're bringing in clean dirt. They're doing everything that needs to get done. They'll landscape it for us. We have plans signed and sealed by a registered landscape architect, and we're ready to rock and roll. I said to them, I don't think the board's going to want you to take out 2 PM loans at once. I think they're going to want you to choose which one to go for. And they said, we have headway with the town right now. It will be immensely beneficial to us if we can do these projects together. We have at book over $6 million in I want to use precise terminology. At cost, we have over $6 million in PM. At market, we have over $9 million in PM. Taking out a loan of 1.25 is manageable for us. We'll still repay it within 10 years.
Get a 9-year payback. Yeah.
Right, which brings me to what we have to amend in the minutes from December. And the thing that I didn't know in all of this is we're almost out of graves. They've got about a half an acre left to sell. And they do get people building private mausoleums. They do get people buying multiple graves. And when they opened their new section, they had a real bang-up year last year. And I think in part that's the results of them opening and really being up and running with the new section.
How much is left in the new section?
Total in the cemetery is half an acre. The vast majority of that is in the new section.
The new section?
Not this one, the previous new section. So they opened up
There's
another section.
I thought there was a half acre left to be developed.
No, there are 4 acres left to be developed. The undeveloped parcel is 6.23 acres, of which 4 are suitable for interments, and the rest are going to be roads and features and what have you. They have another half acre left to sell. That's going to last them, in their estimate, 18 months. So the timing of this, if we approve this now, is that they can be ready to open this just as they're running out of space in their other thing.
No, it seems to me there's no question that they need to develop that. And the time is right, it's right. It's great. I am not, it doesn't concern me maybe as much as it concerned you to have an aggregate PM of 1.25 on this. My note to myself on this is explain the availability of revenue payback.
Oh, I mean, we should have done a projection of sales in the new thing. What we do have though is their, track record of sales in their existing. If you want me to get them on the phone, I suspect they have internal projections as to, let's see.
The other thing I would look for is a better explanation of the repayment of the total loan.
That's in the repayment schedule is,
I saw that
where the hell is
there's a memo that refers,
I
paying
think it seems you got my minute.
6,000 a month beginning.
Here it is. That is their schedule. It's 6,000 a month beginning in December 15. That's solely, they're, even though this is gonna be one application, they're keeping the sums for the Mazo and the sums for the new section separate. They're gonna start paying sooner on the sums for the Mazo, because I think they're gonna start doing foundation work sooner on that. Then, when they start working on both, they're gonna be drawing, when we start moving forward on both, they'll be repaying an additional 7,500 attributable to the new section. The Mazo piece gets paid off in 23, the other piece gets paid off in 24.
So everything will be paid off in 2024.
That's the idea.
And what they'll have to do is amend their proposed petition, that's all. Because the current petition to the court doesn't explain the
Okay.
repayment. That's
Okay. The other thing that I want to point out is that the board, when it approved this back in December of last year, approved a 10-year payback recommended approval of a 10-year payback on the original PM loan, but strongly encouraged the cemetery to repay it faster and asked the division to work with them to come up with that. I don't have that revised schedule in front of me, but it was approximately an 8.5-year payback that they proposed to do. The board's only constraint was a 10-year outside limit, but they came up with about an 8.5-year repayment on the original. But like I said, that will now be subsumed into this.
Right.
The two are consistent.
And they're projecting a 9-year, which means that they're anticipating revenue coming in from lot sales.
Yes.
Or anticipating, selling at the same rate they've been selling, what they already have developed just recently. Might get them on the phone.
Sure, let me just double check. Otherwise I have it in my phone. I was gonna do it from memory, but that seems silly. To us, or?
Yeah. Just you, Louis.
Hey, it's the State Cemetery Board calling for Tom and Bill.
Hi, one moment.
Thanks.
Louis?
Hello, we've got the whole State Cemetery Board here, and you're being recorded for posterity.
Okay.
Hi there, how are you? Stan Shapiro and Paul Ambrose, among others. How you doing?
We're fine. We're all sitting here together with as much material as we possibly can to answer any questions.
That's great. So, we like the projects, all right? Obviously, we approved the Mazo previously, and we understand the need and the benefits of developing out your last bit of acreage. The question that we have has to do with payback. And how are you going to make this payback? What's your revenue projections? Just give us background on that. Because in the application, it says you're gonna make 9-year payback on both the Mozo and the build-out.
This is, by the way, guys, this is my bad. I should have gotten a more precise projection from you on what your annual anticipated revenue is on both of these. I'm sure you have one. I just don't have it.
Well, going back to the mausoleums, as I think you may know, that will be the principal offering in that memorial garden. That is a brand new offering for us. We have never been able to offer that as an option. So we are expecting, and particularly as we've talked to our major suppliers from funeral homes, that is going to be, we think, a successful area and one that will give us revenue that we've never had before. So I have no history on that other than going forward. And our expectation was that over the course of, I think, the 8-year payback period, we would generate revenues there of about $2 million. And our feeling was that almost every bit of that would be new, because again, it's giving us revenue for options that we have never had before. So we feel pretty confident about that. And again, from the indications that we have, I'm sitting here with Bill, who really is the chief executive, and he can tell you that we have had inquiry from several people before we've even built it, who are interested in the above ground opportunities. In addition to that, we have almost run out of columbarium space here in the cemetery. And the options that we're going to be offering there are extremely attractive, both visually and in terms of offerings that we've never had. For example, we're going to have what are known as these primorials, which are brass-plated options for in-ground burial. We'll obviously have in-ground cremains. We'll have the options at the end of the mausoleums, and we'll also have these separate options in these very attractive urn configurations. So that, I think, handles the area of the garden. In terms of the major build-out, our expectation is that the major build-out, at about the time we're completing it, will be when we are close to exhausting the existing options in the main cemetery. And I think, as you know, the Griefin Ward projections for that area indicated that we would have 4,600 grave opportunities, all double depth. And as you and I discussed, I think, a couple of days ago, one of the things that we have found here has been that we are having a significant interest in side-by-side graves with a raised monument. And so we configured that into our, projections. So we're thinking that on an annual basis, we'll be able to put something on the order of $600,000 in revenue against that Northwest project, or the major improvements. Again, a lot of that will be shifted from our existing work.
Except it won't be shifted because you're going to be done.
With the 15% being paid back to the trust fund, which, as I think you know, we are putting 15% back. That's been our history, even though it only calls for 10. And the repayment of the loan, we will still have a significant excess annual cash flow. On a long-term basis, we think that the Northwest area will generate something closer to $22 to $23 million, over the lifetime. But that in an 8-year period, we think we're looking at somewhere around $2.5 to $2.6 million. So I don't know if that answers the question, but I think that hopefully it responds to what your general inquiry is.
No, it was good.
I actually came up with a better number for you for 8 years, just doing it at the back of an envelope. But it's
happy to have your rest.
We did a conservative. Remember, we discussed this. We did a conservative estimate, assuming you sold the entire section as single depth at the discounted rate for 2 graves per single depth. and came up with total revenue over the life of the project of 17 million.
Yeah, no question, there's no question that.
Not by
that the
year.
build out is an
And
appropriate,
the-
necessary thing for cemetery.
The net on the net, I did the math, the net on the Mazza they're projecting over that period is 1.1 million when you net out recovery of construction, cost and repayment of PM.
Right. No, good projects. Question was the availability of revenue paid off.
And that's the,
The time period that we're setting forth. And, you know, I'm satisfied that, I'll have the resources to do it. Are there any other questions? All right, I'm gonna motion for approval of the project as submitted. And condition that on, the 9-year payback that was given plan. That's it.
may I,
So the PM loan is melded into one loan to pay back per the payment schedule.
Absolutely, yep.
the only thing that I would ask is, might it make sense to recommend approval of a payback not to exceed 10 years to give them just a little bit of flexibility? That way, if they get a little off schedule, they don't have to go back to court.
Fine, I have no problem.
I mean,
Fine.
you okay with
My-
that?
I prefer,
If you're asking for.
Hold on, wait, let counsel
it's
shoot me
preferable
down
to have a
before.
court order that has an end date.
Right.
Courts like this, they know when it comes to an end,
Right.
it's better for our accountants to know that there's a specific end date when they're reviewing whether they're caught up or not. So, if, you know, if you wanna stretch it out, let it be clear what the end date is.
Let me ask Dominic, do you have any concern you're not gonna meet the 9-year payback?
Excuse me?
Do you have any concern that you might not be able to meet the 9-year payback?
No, we fully, pardon me, we sent a, schedule to the director, where we started, on a monthly basis in 2015, and we completed in August of 2024, which would be the timeframes for each of the projects, and we are fully confident that we will meet that schedule. I mean, we would be, you know, somebody said, here, you can take another year or two, that's fine, but we are very comfortable that we are within the guidelines that we have suggested.
All right, so my motion stands. Want a second?
Seconded.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I'm good to go.
Thank you.
We'll need to, I think we will need to see another draft of the petition, though,
Yeah.
showing, that's just for us, the council, not for the board, showing a hard date by which the repayments will be complete and the payment schedule. And we'll issue you a letter approving the projects and recommending approval of the PM loan.
Just
which will
have
be an
your,
exhibit.
just have your attorney send a revised petition to Division of Cemeteries, and they'll forward it to me. This is Tony Melillo, counsel to the board. And I'll work with your attorney if I see any issues.
Okay, because I am looking at a detailed schedule that shows the repayment every single month,
Right.
beginning in December of 2015, terminating in August of 2024.
Right.
So we can have that schedule in front of you as soon
We
as
have it, they have it. They have it.
Okay,
It's a question of attaching that to your petition as well.
we will do that.
Okay.
Okay, very good.
Great, thank
Thanks
you.
again. All right.
Thank you so
Good
much.
project.
We are extremely grateful, and again, thanks a million.
So I'll come back and see you when you break ground.
Okay, we look forward to it. We'll be happy when you do.
Thanks.
Thanks so much.
Okay, take care.
So in light of that, Tony, do you or the board think we need to do anything about the minutes because they were ambiguous as to what you approved? I don't
Well,
think,
we now.
I don't think you have to
Yeah,
because
now
you
it's superseded. Yeah.
subsumed it.
Yeah. That's the only reason we took that action today. No.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Make
Wanna
up
go
for my
back to the
lousy
old
drafting.
minutes. Right. Well, we've come to that point in the meeting where we have gone through our public agenda. And at this point, I'd like to open it up to anybody who'd like to address us for whatever reason. Anybody care to say a couple words? I always look at Dave first, but I'm going to look around the room, see if anybody else wants to chat with us. Do you want to chat with us?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Mr.
Fleming.
Dave Fleming from the New York State Association of Cemeteries. I just wanted to touch on a couple of things that were discussed today.
just to remind the board, and I appreciate the director talking about NISAC's efforts for municipal outreach. It is becoming more and more of a problem. We've been working quite closely with the Association of Towns for the last 2 years, which has increased significantly over the last, I'd say, 3 weeks, as Association of Towns has seen a significant uptick in calls to them from panicked town board members and supervisors, as has NISAC, as they are facing the abandonment of cemeteries all across the state of New York, which is a real problem for us. And the delayed and proper regulation, I think, by the legislature has been part of that problem over the years as we've tried to address some of these issues. Which is a fairly good segue into Mr. Melillo's report, A3095, which, as the board knows, that's the bill that was just passed both houses, is NISAC's priority legislation for the year. It relates to streamlining the process for cemetery committees and saving money and help them stay in business. So we bring that to your attention. And also, it's great to hear about the diversification of portfolios and how important that is, and that really addresses one of the other issues that we've been working on.
I'm taking off my suspenders. I'm conferring with these folks. It's fine.
So I think, really the main point I'd like to make is a thank you to the board and the division for working with NISAC and the members and really trying to transform, particularly since even, we look back at a number of things. We talked about the cremation law today that you addressed. That was really a joint effort of the board, the division, and ISAC, which transformed the way crematories are regulated and operated in New York. But the municipal assistance bill, which has been very helpful to cemeteries, again, an idea that came out of the cemetery board that ISAC fought for and put in implementation. These other sections, 3095, the assembly bill that just passed, codifies the board's directive to the division on how to process the sale of graves. So I think that's also important. So we're seeing a real, I think, effort in the last few years to really transform the regulation in New York to keep us a leader and keep the cemeteries operating. It's very important. And finally, thank you. If we could have you set a meeting date during the public session before you go into executive session.
You always remind me, because I always forget.
I have a proposed date for you.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks for the comments.
I have a proposed date for you because my schedule, I can't do that Thursday, but I did a little poll beforehand, and everybody was available to do the third Tuesday, which is July 22nd. The chair, I think we're allowed to say this, informed me that we ultimately need to move to being earlier in the month.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we will figure out, so there may be a very short interval between the July and August meetings, or August and September, depending.
Cool. July 22nd?
It's a Wednesday.
Wednesday?
No, the 21st.
21st?
First is Tuesday.
Yeah.
Tuesday
I
at
won't
what
be
time?
here.
Normal time? You won't be here?
I have a personal matter that.
The heck with you.
Can we do it in the afternoon?
Yes, I can be back here.
Okay. We can do it a little later.
I was
in the
about to give him a
afternoon if we
pass.
need to.
You know,
Oh, I'm not doing that.
I can be counsel. Just a lousy one. All right, July 22nd, 21st, I'm sorry, and we'll do it at, what time, Tony?
1 p.m.
When did you say?
1 p.m.
Is that good for you?
Yeah. If
Paul?
anything on this changes, I will let you know immediately.
Okay. All right, so there we have it. All right. Yeah, well, we'll find out.
Chris said he was free all day that day. I got an email
good.
from him.
Okay, excellent.
And let me ask another question. If for some reason we really were to move to a first week of the month meeting, is there any possibility of moving that meeting up, the July meeting up a week, and then scheduling the first August meeting for the first week in August? That would also avoid like the end of August vacation crunch.
Is there any possibility of what?
If the one we just scheduled, if it looks like in August, the first week of August meeting is what we want to shoot for,
Well, we can do the second week. I mean, it's
Okay,
something.
fine.
Yeah, it's
fine.
not overriding.
Okay.
All right, so what I will do is a motion to go into executive session for investigative and litigative matters.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
All right, we're off from mute.
All right. Nothing emanating from the executive session, so motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.